Jeremy Adams, long time no see.
Man. Yes, it's only been a couple weeks.
I know, but I'm excited we get more time together.
Yes.
So we're doing a little bit of a different thing for FAN EXPO Chicago. We're doing origin stories. We're talking about how you got into the industry, or just what caused you to pursue the world of comics as your passion, your career.
All right. I think you know some of this.
I know a little bit, but it's more fun that way. Maybe the audience doesn't know that.
So this is what you need to know.
Okay.
My dad drew some DC comics growing up. I think he'd done Ghosts. There was a DC book called Ghost. And then I found out later that he had done some Captain Atom in the 80s and a few Alpha Flight. Not very many, but my parents were divorced when I was this is going to be a sob story now.
Okay.
My parents were divorced when I was very young. So obviously I was trying to connect with him on any level. And I think comic books were part of that. And so I was absolutely, got obsessed with comic books. I knew my dad drew comics. And over the years, then it became my own, right? Like I got obsessed with comics, and I love comics, and I went crazy for comics. Moved to LA to pursue film and television, and I was always in the back of my head, like, how do I get into comics? And I would always try to break in somehow. I've done it backwards than anybody else in comics, right? Usually they go comic books, and then they try to get in film and television. I had done a lot of stuff for Warner Brothers Animation, very thoughtful adaptations of DC superhero stuff. I was working at Supernatural at the time, and I get a call saying, hey, you were on a list for animation writers that we want to pursue as writing for comics. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. This is finally happening. And I went in, and Dan Didio was giving this big spiel about 5G, and I thought, oh my gosh, and I pitched a couple things, and then everything at Warner Brothers collapsed, and I thought, oh no, this is terrible. But my name was still on a list, and I got a call one day from an editor named Mike Cotton, and he said, hey, would you be interested in doing a backup? 100,000%. And I did a backup for Future State. I did 2 backups. And then he called me. I guess he liked it enough. He said, you got any ideas for The Flash? And I said, bro, I'm a man of a certain age that have been reading comics my entire life. I have an idea for everything, So I told him my idea, and he goes, yeah, that's better than what we got. You're writing The Flash now. And I'm like, I've come to find out I was not the first, nor was I the second person they asked. But I grabbed The Flash, and I just went hog wild on it, and and that kind of like led into the whole comic book world.
And now you've got Flash under your belt. You've got Green Lantern.
Yes.
You're writing Flash Gordon.
Yes.
You've got so many amazing books.
Yes.
But you mentioned there's a new title that just got announced.
Yeah. There's the one that you'll know about is the one shot. I'm doing like a Penguin, like a 10-pager, part of an anthology. I'm excited about that. And I've also got a couple other things that we haven't announced. Obviously, the one shot I'm doing Philip Kennedy Johnson, The Civil Core, which will tie in his book into the main Green Lantern line, and then we'll wrap up that incredible story for the new year.
So I know you have your panel coming up in a minute, so I have one last question I got to ask you. What are you excited about reading? We know there's a lot with DC All In, and we know that you're working with the team to do Flash Gordon, but what else in the industry is exciting you right now as a reader?
I love all the nostalgia bait because I'm a child of a certain age, so G.I. Joe books are incredible, Transformer books are incredible. I've been enjoying David Peppo's Space Ghost a great deal. I'll read anything, I'm terrible that way, but new X-Men runs, great. I'm really excited for the all-in absolute stuff. The Batman does look pretty epic. But I'm also excited for Mark Waid's Justice League Unlimited. That's going to be incredible because Mark Waid.